My husband had an emotional affair with a coworker. Said it ended, but I still think it's going on. What do I do? I found out that my husband was having an emotional affair with a female coworker a year ago. He said it was strictly emotional, although I feel certain it would have been more had I not caught him messaging her. We've been together for 10 years, married for 6, and we have 2 small children together. I decided to stay with him as he assured me that it was over, and we have gone to marriage counseling regularly since. I thought we were in a good place, but I see too many things that make me think the affair is still happening. He guards his phone like crazy, and anytime I ask to use his phone for something he asks me why and sits next to me or hovers while I use it. He used to not care if I ever picked up his phone. He disappears to the bathroom multiple times a day for extended periods of time. It's the only place he can hide in our house, I imagine, and I noticed that he downloaded private messaging apps on his phone a few months ago. Not to mention, anytime I bring up sex he just blows it off. I don't know what to do. I love him, and I'm not wanting to get a divorce, but also don't deserve to be treated like this for the rest of my life. I don't trust him, and I'm tired of trying to figure out if he's actually still having an affair or not. The thought consumes me, and I just don't know what to do right now. Having been in a similar situation at a similar time in my marriage, let me make a few things very clear. 1. He is still having an affair and it has likely been physical for a while, not that that really matters. 2. Your love for him will never be enough for him and nothing he could ever do at this point would really ever let you forget what he has done, assuming he stopped in the first place. 3. The sooner you start moving on, the sooner you might be able to find something that will make you happier than him, even if you are alone for some time. I am truly sorry it has come to this, but wasting months or years chasing this man and hoping that he will someday get better is a losing battle for you. You could demand that he change jobs or move or any number of things, but he brings his disrespect of you with him, and that will likely never change. While in a counseling session, ask him to see his phone in front of the counselor. Love this idea. I usually don't recommend doing this, but try to go through his phone one day without him knowing. Look through everything: apps, web browsing history, email, camera roll, etc. If you find anything, send yourself the evidence and delete any screenshots you take from his phone. If you can't go through his phone or don't know the passcode, then ask to see it during a marriage counseling session with the counselor in front of you guys. The important thing is to not ask him about his phone or make any comments about it, as he can delete things before you get the chance to look through it. It's best to look through it on your own, if possible, or to surprise him and look through it with the counselor in front of you guys. It's concerning that he guards his phone and that he has downloaded private messaging apps. Your intuition is telling you something. Do not ignore it. Well, if you don't want a divorce and he knows what he really has to stop, you ain't going nowhere. Ask him point blank, are you still talking to her? If he says no, say, open your phone, I want to look. Don't let him leave the room. Tell him if he leave the room, the marriage is over. If he does not hand over the phone, the marriage is over. Don't let him spew about privacy, etc. You don't get the same deal with privacy as he did before he cheated. He showed himself untrustworthy so he could show or he can leave. And don't sit there saying you don't want a divorce. He makes him think he can do whatever. Tell him you will divorce him. My boyfriend has disappeared every weekend for the past 3 years and I just found out he's been lying to me about where he goes. My boyfriend and I have been together for 3 years. We don't live together but are close enough to spend a lot of time together. However, it is very rare for us to spend a whole day together. When we have, It's been a weekday where our schedules have just happened to line up. I.e., no work and no class. We have never spent a day on the weekend together. He works as a research assistant while getting his PhD. Every single weekend for the 3 years we've been together, he insists he has work. I realize how stupid I've been now, but foolishly I trusted him. I trusted that he had work every single weekend for 3 years. That was, until today. I've been studying for finals and it's the toughest it's ever been, so I was craving some time with him. Just a day where we could kick back and relax with each other. Of course, he says he can't because he's working, and I shut up about it. So, today I'm getting antsy anyway and hoping we could at least spend the evening together. I end up texting him, asking when he thinks he'll be back and we can spend the night. I've done this plenty of times before and he always responds fairly quick. This time I'm waiting for a while. After 2 hours I decide to text a work friend of his who's also a research assistant with him. Wouldn't you know it, it turns out they don't have work today. In fact, he informs me in that same text that they rarely ever have work on weekends. Rarely ever. So now, I'm sitting here wondering WTF is going on? I have no idea how to confront him about this. I mean, this has been going on for 3 years. If he's cheating on me, he basically has a second family at this point. But obviously that's where my mind goes and I have no clue what else it could possibly be. Like, is there any possible explanation for this besides cheating? How in the world do I confront him about something he's been doing for 3 years? Since he's doing whatever it is tomorrow, do I just drive over to his place in the morning and wait and then follow him? Has anyone had anything like this happen to them before? TLDR, my BF of 3 years has been and continues to disappear every weekend for work. But when I asked his coworker, it turns out he's been lying about it and I have no idea how to confront him. Do you spend any holidays together? Celebrate your birthdays together? Met his friends? Met his parents? Met any other family? Do you give each other gifts? Have you had discussions about living together or any future? So many questions that the answers could give a better understanding of your relationship. Met his friends? Met his parents? This will tell you all you need to know. Do you spend any holidays together? This, and the fact that every weekend for 3 years is, at the very least, about 312 days, that's only counting Saturday and Sunday, not Friday evenings or any holiday Mondays. OP's boyfriend has spent almost a year of their 3-year relationship unavailable to her, almost ghosting her. I say, do whatever you feel is necessary to get the truth. Do you follow him on any social media? Has he introduced you to friends? Family? Others have asked this too, and Op never answers. At this stage, the final exams are what matters most and what you should try to focus on. The future X is a waste of space and it sucks you had to find out this way. I hope you don't let him impact your professional future. I'm sending all the wishes of success your way. Op, there are so many examples of men leading double lives where they have 2 families. Guess what reason they use to excuse it, aka cover it up? Work. That's the cover-up basically every single time. I know it sounds absolutely insane, bonkers, and impossible. That's because to us sane, decent people, it is. But the people capable of lying and deceiving like this aren't like us, and they take advantage of the knowledge that we can't even fathom such a thing. It helps them get away with their lie and keep it going. Think about it. Really the only plausible explanation that he's away for work? Literally every single weekend for 3 years is because he's leading a double life. Only a family life with another woman and kids makes sense for such a long-term, habitual pattern. You've tolerated a relationship for years where you don't even spend an entire day together. To him, you're the perfect side piece. since you are willing to tolerate that for so long without questioning it or putting your foot down. You're in denial, and I don't blame you. I would, initially, be too. You know this smells fishy, and it is. Knowing myself, I would get crafty and find a way to discover the truth, get proof, and let the other woman know. Best of luck to you. There's a whole article where a woman tells the story of how she learned the terrible truth that her basically common-law husband was cheating with her, not on her. After she discovered a homemade Father's Day card featuring him with a woman with the wrong hair color and a little boy instead of her and 2 girls. He got away with it because he was fly in, fly out and at each place for a set amount of days, 15-20 with his wife and son and 15-20 with her and their girls. I'll see if I can find the article. Edit. Found it. I got some details wrong, but the bulk of the story was on track. You're definitely the other woman. I saw you question how his real relationship would function if he didn't see her but only on the weekends, and the answer is it's a long-term relationship with a foundation, and it's only like that while he's in school. Once school is done, he will go home to his actual wife and family. Why I know this? My mom was unknowingly the other woman for many years. I find it crazy that you've been with this guy for 3 years and never spent the weekend with them. You need to have more self-respect for yourself and stop being treated like this. Obviously, this guy doesn't care about your feelings. Edit. Instead of replying to the hundreds of comments, I thought I would just answer them here. I never meant to start a debate over the words him, them. To be honest, I don't know why I wrote him twice and them once. I guess I should have stuck to him. With that said, I really don't see what the issue is though. It's just a word and language is constantly evolving. I mean, just look at a Shakespeare play compared to how we talk now. My point is there was no hidden meaning, and I apologize if I started an argument due to my poor writing skills. I would just ask him first. Hey, I texted your work friend while I was waiting for you to reply and he said you never work weekends. Even if he's not cheating, he's lying. Don't stalk him, don't play games. But what's stopping him from just lying again? Like, even if I confront him, he could just insist that he's working or come up with an excuse. The only proof I have is the text from his coworker. I feel like that might not be enough to get him to tell me the truth. You already know the truth? You're the side chick. He has at the least a live in GF, but possibly a wife and a family. You can try to get him to admit that, but it's likely a fool's errand. He's been lying for 3 years. My advice is to simply walk away. Block him everywhere and don't give him a chance to tell you more lies.